not to hit record in the first take of this intro, which I thought just went absolutely beautiful, but I guess we'll just never know. But without further ado, let's get to some bill searching. Let's look through some pocket change and see if we find anything worth more than face value or is at least collectible in the best hobby ever, which is collecting currency. Thank you for coming to the video, and hit the subscribe button if you love money like I do. Now that it is not raining so much here in North Carolina, I was able to get out and do some work outdoors, got a little walking around money, so let's go through it. Series 2013 banknote, nice and folded up, damaged up. Nothing in the serial number. Little bit of shift in the Department of the Treasury seal here. That is something to keep an eye out for. Now on the bottom down here, there is a little bit of excess ink going on the border of the note there. But that is not a tone of ink that's used. Most likely this was in a stack, and they used some sort of anti-counterfeit pen and marked it up the side of the bill, or the whole stack, rather. There's a little bit of a counter stamp left over, so probably exactly what I mentioned with that mark that's on the edge there. This is most likely on the bottom of the stack. They stamped both sides, and then they used a pen to mark up the edge of it. So that's most likely what that's from. A little bit of an overpress of the serial number here, and a little bit of stippling and dotting of other ink, but nothing too crazy to call home about. Nice star note. I love me some star notes. This one, unfortunately, does not have a fancy serial number in it. However, star notes are collectible. This one's really beat up, so I wouldn't say it would command anything over face value. But I like star notes. I like to hold on to them. So I'm going to set that aside. Next note, nice repetition of 8s, 3s, and so on and so forth. It would have been nice to see 3s, 7s, and 9s as a trinary in there, but we have an 8 in the beginning. Series 2013 note. One thing that's really common with this series is over inks in a couple different places. Where are those places, you might ask? And that's a great question. Those places are going to be in the beginning of the serial number, generally on the third digit from the left, and you'll see that in usually both serial numbers. Another place that I've seen a little over inking, oddly enough, is on the series date. Usually you'll see it around the 3, and it almost looks like an 8 or a 9 where the top of it is closed. If it's completely, shows a different series number due to excessive inking on that series date, I would definitely hold on to it, as you might be sitting on a little bit of value. Next note, 2013 series $20 notes, the same as that previous one. Nothing in the serial number here. Now, there is a few things to look for on $20 notes, mainly over inks around where these trees are, somewhat down here where the bushes are, over the words $20. Sometimes you'll see a little excess of ink make its way down there. But in this case, all printed appropriately. If you're interested in looking or learning about just the parts of $20 notes, then take a look at our video on $20 banknotes. Next bill, folded over 2013 series $1 note. Everything's printed really appropriately on this one. Nothing in the serial number, no fancy serial number, unfortunately, no date note or repeater note or anything like that. This one's been wet, you can tell from the wrinkling, as well as if you could feel it, it's kind of thinned out due to losing some of its durability due to moisture. Series 2013 bill also. Little bit of a shift here in the seal. This should be sitting a little bit closer to this kind of chevron-looking center of the E there. Aside from that, it looks pretty straightforward, really beat up. I've gotten a lot of good pictures of, well, $1 notes as well as other denominations from all you lovely folks that send me stuff in email, which is to mr.kmfrank@gmail.com. I love receiving stuff in email, in both questions as well as just pictures of finds. Speaking of that thing from earlier, here's that over ink of that third digit. This one's minor, but you can see it's also on this one here. Now, that's not an error. I get asked about that a lot. I've mentioned it a lot. I don't mean to beat it into you, but it's just so common that I would say it's not worth anything. Well, not worth anything above face value. little bit of a highlighter mark on this $10 note. Next bill in this bill search is a 2013 $10 note. So we got some pretty good variation in banknotes in this search. There's a little bit of something around that seal there for the Federal Reserve seal, but not too bad. I see a little bit of straying down here. Normally this is obscured a little bit better by the border of the bill. If I had another 10, I would compare the two, but it's not enough for me to say, oh yeah, that's an error or that's a misprint or whatever. But something to keep an eye out for is, you know, portions of the bill should be where they are supposed to be. Nothing there. Nice, crisp $20 note. 2017 series, so only difference in this and anything from early 2000s and upwards is going to be the signatures. But aside from that, graphically speaking, no changes. They redesigned 20s in the early 2000s to combat counterfeiting them, albeit $5 bills are the most counterfeited U.S. currency. And I think that's in part, you know, it's partly due to the fact that they're lower in denomination. They're probably not checked as much unless you go to like a dollar store or something like that. Then they'll check a $5 note. But that's neither here nor there. You get the idea. 2017 $1 note, same dealio. No differences in the graphics of $1 notes for 60-something years now. So the signatures are the only thing that change from bill to bill. Nothing jumping out on me at me on this bill. You can see a lot of those fibrous materials. Don't mistake those for stray ink marks. Some of those are going to be red, blue, as well as green that make up the cotton and linen mixture that makes our money here in the States. Nothing in the serial number, although a couple repetitious numbers there, but nothing crazy. Little bit of excessive ink from that serial number on the front right there. And something to keep an eye out on, $1 notes is, of course, if you like mule notes or something collectible for what it is, but keep an eye out on the seal, both portions of the seal. Sometimes you'll get a little issues around the tail and the shield where these lines should be straight on the seal, as well as, well, somewhat defined on the tail, as well as right here where above Novus Ordo Seclorum, the Roman numerals for 1776, sometimes you'll see a little bit of kind of blurring in those. So keep an eye for that. Last but not least, another, man, I had a little bit more money than I thought. A nice $20 note, Series 2013. Nothing jumping out, printed right here. We don't have that shift like we saw in the first one we came across in the beginning of this video. And nothing on the back. Let's take a little bit closer look, a little scan. I don't see anything popping out at me as misprinted, any blurred or smeared ink. Nothing in the serial number. So a minor find in this bill search today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. A little star note. Something more collectible than rare. Definitely not an error. It's an error in its own right due to being a replacement note, but not an error as far as production. Let me know what you've come across in your bill and coin searches in the comments below. And take a look at VarietyErrors.com. We just did a bunch of updates on our coin store. Everything is lower in cost. We got a bunch of stuff on sale because we got a bunch of surplus supplies. So check that out on VarietyErrors.com, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.